Rupauls Drag Race, start your engines. So this kind of came about because I was wondering, like, we had so many like iconic Drag Race performances in very different ways. I really wanted to. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this picture, so horrendous. And I was just wondering, like, who really did the best. Oh my God, poor Monet though. Like, she's so beautiful in drag, and it looks like she just got her wisdom teeth removed or something in this picture. It's horrible. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's again a few disclaimers from the get-go. The first one being that it'll be limited to RuPaul's Drag Race US. So it'll only be the main series. I will not include All Stars, and I will definitely not include international franchises like Thailand, Holland, or España, because if that were the case, there would be no US queen on the list anymore. I mean, or a few, I guess, because like Thailand's design challenges are immensely impressive to me. If you want to see like a really exciting musical, I'd recommend watching the Thailand season 2 musical they had. I'm currently watching Drag Race Holland season 2, which is becoming one of my favorite seasons of all time. Not gonna lie, it's really tough competition, so to kind of make it easier for the US dolls, I will not include these. But other than that, of course, every performance counts. I will reduce it to individual performances or group performances, dependent on like how far the group depended upon one another, but you'll see. And you'll disagree, which is of course great. I don't want unison, but I would love to hear your opinion. Maybe you can include your top 5 performances or top 20, I don't care. I'm doing top 20, but I would love to see you guys' list. But yeah, this is my opinion, and that's just my opinion. Starting with number 20, we have Jan in Madonna the Musical. Jan's performance in the musical is probably one of the best musical performances ever. Her vocals were fantastic, her choreography was fantastic. Unfortunate that she was overshadowed by other queens in the same performance, which was really difficult though, because Jan absolutely slayed this. So I still think about this performance to this day because it really seems so effortless. It really just showed a queen who do exactly what she's good at. And props to your mama. I'm not trying to be shady, but Gigi Good's Madonna performance is number 19 for me. Really surprising. And I was like really thinking about it. Do I like this performance because it was genuinely this good? Or did I like it because it was surprising coming from Gigi, who kind of sold herself to be this like girl with 2 left feet? But I just also think her performance was absolutely captivating. I think like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, she was really the only one that truly embodied the essence of Madonna. Her vocals were great. I think that was probably the difference for why I preferred Gigi's performance over Jan's, is that Gigi's really captured Madonna's essence more, the more ferocious bombshell. But absolutely iconic. The choreo she did well with, and yeah. Definitely not the best musical performance of all time. You'll see who my picks are for that later. But really solid. Congratulations, Miss Gigi. On number 18, we have our first acting performance, and that is Thorgy Thor in Ruko's Empire on Season 8. A very underappreciated performance when we talk about it. Like, Thorgy Thor completely created a character, acted with it so beautifully. She was so absurd, but really grounded the character in realism. That was great. Like physical acting, emotional acting, comedic chops. I mean, Thorgy Thor really is one of the best drag queens, in my opinion, to have ever been on Drag Race. And I feel like this performance really solidified that. So Thorgy Thor, congratulations. Probably one of the more controversial choices on this list. I'm a bit of a Thorgy fanboy as well, but I also just generally think this is one of the best acting performances, it's acting performance that has ever been on Drag Race. On number 17, we have our first entry from a design challenge, and that is Kim Shi's 3 looks from the book ball. I'm including the 3 looks for this entry because I feel like you can't necessarily judge it otherwise, because Kim Shi really made a point to create a narrative throughout the 3 looks, have a cohesive storyline that ended beautifully in her final look, and really shared the dealings of a Korean American immigrant daughter going and dealing with the double standards or the double morale that comes from being an immigrant. As an immigrant myself, I really related to this. I thought the construction was beautiful. It's crazy to think that this is made out of book pages. Absolutely amazing. And the voiceover she did, I think, also kind of counts for her placement here. Really, really stellar performance. On number 16, we have already our third musical performance, and that is Rosé's performance in Social Media, the musical. One of the worst musicals in my opinion in total, but Rosé absolutely stands out. Rosé, in my opinion, really was able to have great vocals, like we saw it with Jan and Gigi, but also iconic acting. She was undoubtedly the lead actress of this performance. She really captured the room, had ebbs and flows, really was, great thing that she won that audition against Denali, because otherwise it would have been a miss to not have this performance. Great. I think about it a lot because it's just so genuinely like a really good musical performance. Like, I have a few musical friends, and I know how hard it is to do something like this, and I have just a lot of respect for that. So Rosé's performance in Social Media, the musical, has my spot number 16. On number 15, we have a finale performance. Might also just be the only one, I'm not entirely sure. And that is Crystal Method's I'm Like a Bird finale performance. I was really, really excited when I found out that Crystal Method was going to the finale of Drag Race, and I was also especially excited when I heard that they were able to self-direct videos for the finale, because, of course, letting Crystal self-direct things like that, you know some crazy shit will happen, and she did not disappoint. Her I'm Like a Bird performance, I still remember, I didn't put it higher on the list because there was a bit of empty space in the music video sometimes where there wasn't a lot happening sometimes, which was just the only reason why it's not like a top 10 performance to me, because otherwise there is nothing like bad about it. Like, in comparison to Jada and Gigi, who also had the same capacity available to them, I just really respect how crafty Crystal is in the best sense of the word. Immensely creative, and just really what I wish to see more on Drag Race. Like, drag queens that really aren't scared to kind of leave the margin of just trying to be a glamorous, beautiful, fishy queen and just be artistic. Props to you, Crystal, and I have to leave because I don't want to see this fucking bird shit video anymore. On number 14, we have Asia O'Hara's Americaverse from season 10. Also probably a very controversial choice, but to me it was one of the clearer choices from the get-go. To me, Asia O'Hara's verse here was probably the best verse I've ever seen in a finale performance. I hope I'm not biting myself in the foot here, or because there will be another performance higher up on the list. Might be because I've made this list some time ago, but Asia O'Hara's American verse always stood out to me. She did well with the choreography. I don't think the choreography, though, is the reason why I'm putting her this high up on the list. For me, it's the lyrics. Name etched in sorrow, but now I'm blasting in light. And American dreams build on words we dare not say. I really respected how Asia O'Hara took this opportunity to be critical of our idea of an American dream, when everybody else in the same performance just went on to make a motivational kind of song, kind of tone deaf, especially in a season that was so much about sort of how poor our society is, especially American society. So I really respected Asia O'Hara's bravery in crafting these lyrics that were commentary, but also just amazingly written, beautifully done, and amazingly performed. So Asia O'Hara, props to you. Musicals are really popular, I guess, because we have another musical entry, and that is Adore Delano in Shade, the musical. Probably a bit surprising as to why that musical performance is so low on the list for me, in comparison, though number 13 I wouldn't call that low. She did amazingly. Her vocals were great, and I was considering putting her higher up on the list because I really respected how gritty she made her character, because the character, of course, you had I don't even remember the name, but like Courtney X's version of this character, she was the good girl. She drank the fish oil and became sort of a ruined Hollywood darling, and she did that amazingly. I guess just after that, she kind of fell into the background a bit after her singing performance, but it was iconic still. It was amazing, and I still think about her vocals to this day. Adore Delano, legend, legend, legend. And number 13 of our list. Okay, so I'll take the thing back where I said that Asia O'Hara's top 4 performance was the only verse that ever made this list, but this is not a finale verse, so I guess it doesn't count. Namely, Denali's Phenomenon verse. Again, probably a bit controversial, though I don't think, because Denali is very favored by the fans. I'm not the biggest Denali fan, I wouldn't say that, but her Phenomenon verse I can recite. I'm icy, spicy for you, I'm too pricey. Going for the gold, mama, get a little feisty, strong like a Megatron. I got a Babylon, I'm a phenomenon. I think it was great. I thought her writing in general has been really great. I mean, we've seen a few videos, I think on Instagram Lives, where she showed her verses for other songs. And she absolutely is a born-again songwriter, rapstress, performer. Her choreo here, her essence on stage, one of the best song performances of all time. Great. Oh, I'm just thinking about it again. Icy, spicy for you, I'm too pricey. Move aside to go Denali. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. We're about to enter our top 10, and before we do that, let's talk about one of the best acting performances of all time, and that is Miss Bob the Drag Queen in Rupauls Empire. The second entry in the top 10 from the Rupauls Empire challenge, of course next to Thorgy Thor. To me, Bob's performance was a bit better than Thorgy's, though both were pretty iconic. Bob the Drag Queen makes my list due to the fact that she really took an acting character that could have just been portrayed very easily, but she added so much more to it. She added improv to it, she added character, she added sass, she made the comedy really highlight, but she also was really able to create a character that was not just ludicrous and just over the top. It actually was grounded in something, which is really difficult in these just over the top drag race challenges. So amazing performance, Bob the Drag Queen, and my number 11. So now we will talk about the top 10. Do you have any predictions? Let's see. I think a lot of you might be surprised as to who my number 1 is, but let's see. On number 10, we have our very first Snatch Game entry to be on my list, and that is Pandora Box, and her performance as Carol Channing on Snatch Game of Season 2. Pandora Box really had to go into Snatch Game not knowing what Snatch Game will become, not knowing how really to play Snatch Game, what they would be expecting, to then have one of the best performances that still to this day is being able to compare to really good Snatch Game performances of modern seasons, really just shows how legendary Pandora Box is. It's unfortunate that on All Stars 6 she really wasn't able to meet the same level of grandeur that she was with her performance on Season 2, but I don't think that matters because she has shown she's a legend and she doesn't have to repeat that. Pandora Box is an icon. I mean, her responses here were great. I'm for Broadway actresses against scurvy. I just have a lovely bunch of coconuts. I mean, great. And I mean, yeah, Tatiana was also great. She won Snatch Game ultimately. And good for her. I really liked her Snatch Game too. But to me, Pandora Box as Carol Channing was just much more dynamic, much more creative ultimately. But yeah, Tatiana was also great. But yeah, Pandora Box, Carol Channing, Snatch Game, great stuff. On number 9, we have another acting performance, and that is Akira C. Davenport in LAPD from Season 11. Akira C. Davenport in this episode really kind of showed that she was not to be messed with and that people will always underestimate her. Because people have deemed Akira as a pageant queen who wasn't going to be willing to be portrayed as anything dirty. But Akira really went balls deep here and really just showed that she can do it. And she did. Her performance as this old, twerking streetwalker was so filled with comedic props, with actual character building, with perfectly tuned gimmicks, skits, and character attributes that really impressed me because she wasn't given a lot of time, but she created this character that I can imagine in real TV show. And I don't remember who exactly, I think one of the guest judges said on the panel that when she was reunited with her daughter in the skit, played by Evie Oddly, I think, you felt genuine relief because she was just that good in portraying this character and making you feel for her. Amazing job, Akira. You are a legend. Now, come on now. Coming in at number 8 is another verse from a song, and that is Widow Von Du, I'm That Bitch from season 12. This verse will survive the test of time because it has just, and my thighs rubbing together like they harmonize, and I'm still serving looks when I'm eating these fries. Are you kidding me? I mean, Widow Von Du was not joking when she said that she is the rapper, and she really is. I really hope for her to come back on All Stars to really get a full redemption arc, because to me she was one of the best queens on season 12 from the get-go, and I'm thinking it's really unfortunate that she was sent home so early, because I feel like she had to show so much more. Kind of robbed, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think she should have been in the bottom for the political challenge, but you know, that's sour grapes or something like that, gravy or something. I don't know sayings, but this performance at I'm That Bitch will forever be one of my favorites. The rap verse paired with the look, paired with the choreo, of course, stand out. Widow Von Du is probably one of the best rappers to ever come from Drag Race. On number 7, we have one of my favorite Snatch Game performances of all time, and that is the iconic Kennedy Davenport with her performance as Little Richards on Snatch Game Season 7. To me, she was clearly better than Ginger Minch's Adele, though that was also really good, but Kennedy Davenport as Little Richards was so important on so many levels. On the one hand, it was just a funny character. She had amazing props, like everybody loves a tight screw, and a shut up, of course. But she also created the room for there to be male characters on Snatch Game, because of course we've seen that from this point on. There have been a lot of male characters on Snatch Game, and I'm so glad and I'm so happy about that. And I'm just thanking Kennedy Davenport for being such an icon, a legend. Come on now, she's great. She's absolutely great, and this Snatch Game also probably really benefited from the surprise factor, because a bit like Akira, you just wouldn't have expected this clean pageant queen to be going this ball deep again, but she did that. And again, fortunate a bit that she wasn't able to meet the measure on All Stars 3 when it comes to her Snatch Game as Phaedra Parks, but she did great. On number 6, we have our one and only stand-up performance on this list, and that is Bianca Del Rio's stand-up performance of season 6. Stand-up performances we have seen a lot on Drag Race. We have seen some really good ones, like Coco, for instance, or Jinx Monsoon, or let's stick with these two examples, or Trinity K. Bonet, of course. We have seen some really bad examples with Alyssa Edwards, Can I Get a Gay Man, or Ben de la Creme, but I still think that like the standout of all time was Bianca Del Rio. Bianca Del Rio's stand-up performance is really an all-rounder. She was able to introduce the audience, she roasted them nicely, she was spontaneous, like when the one guy was sleeping, she was really funny with how she was dealing with it, and she didn't let him intimidate her, but more so the other way around. She had a great ending to it. She had one of the best roasts for Michelle and Santino. I'm going to show you versatility if Michelle wears a turtleneck and Santino wins a sewing competition. Great. Bianca really showed why she is the winner of season 6 in this performance, and really solidified herself as a winner and as a master comedian. So I know Bianca is quite controversial. I don't necessarily always think she's that funny, if I'm going to be totally honest. Not that it matters that I don't think that, but here she absolutely was, and she really kind of set the bar quite high for what should be expected from a stand-up performance. So congratulations, Bianca. We are entering the top 5, and we have another performance from season 6, another Rusical performance, and that is Courtney Act in Shade the Rusical. Of course, on this very episode, it was like Courtney versus Adore, and in the episode, ultimately, Courtney Act won. And as you can see by my placements, for me, Courtney Act won too, though Adore Delano absolutely was great in that episode. But to me, Courtney Act succeeded a bit more because I really liked how she portrayed the sort of a bit jaded, a bit jitsi character of who she was portraying. I just got fresh off the boat, ready to get fame any way I can, and then sort of being lured by the danger portrayed by Bendel LeCreme. She's a man with one eye. I thought she really had a layers, and the vocal performance at the end, of course, to this day is a big standout performance. And yeah, probably the best performance in a musical to this day, like whole round. Like, I do think Jan was great. I think Gigi was great. I think Adore and Rosie Rose were great, who were also all on the list. But I think Courtney really manages to slay all of them and look great while at it. My fourth choice is very controversial, and I wasn't sure why I felt so strongly about this, so I rewatched their performance here, and that just solidified why I want to put them that high. And that is Sugarcane, Brooklyn Heights, and Nina West's Magic Show from season 11. To this day, probably one of the most criminal robberies of putting Sugarcane low and ultimately sending her home in this episode, where she was absolutely amazing. Though I do agree that Nina and Brooklyn were probably a bit better, but it was a group effort, and that is also why I'm putting the whole group in the list. It was a magic show, it was a comedy show, it was performative, it included elements of dance, and it is really impressive to think that these queens were shown these magic tricks like probably a day or two before, and they had to master them like that, and it just looked like they were doing magic for years. And magic is difficult. Like, to perform magic in such an effortless, believable way, it takes a pro. And these three queens absolutely showed that. I mean, if you want to see how difficult it can be, look at the other group, Black Girl Magic or whatever. No, Black Girl Magic is the ship at the Vixen. What was it called? Wasn't it called Black Magic? Am I making it up? This is racial. I'm POC. Hey, don't cancel me. No, I think that it was great. I thought that they really worked amazingly together. Everybody had a role in this performance. Everybody had their high and lows. Nina West was amazing as the host, and I just find it so impressive that these queens learned these magic tricks a few days ago. Also, then created the whole performance of this, like, just physically, but also had so many great comedic moments. Like, there was so much comedy there too that was just great. Really underrated, really amazing, and I hope they bring the magic challenge back. I thought it was really, really fun. But yeah, number 4. We enter the top 3. The bronze goes to the best design performance on Drag Race of all time. If you know Drag Race, you probably know what is on the list, and that is, of course, Utica Queen's bag ball look from the bag ball. Oh, God. The fact that she created that in the workroom and then ultimately didn't win is just so heart-wrenching. She created this look that is so delicious with so many nuances. Like, if you have time, I would recommend that you take some time out of your day to really investigate the details of this look, because there's so much to be discovered if you really take a peek at it. And the matching makeup and how she really became this serious mythical creature while she was performing it really just showed what of a great designer Utica Queen is. Oh my god, she should have won that challenge. I'm gonna be honest, I think she really was able to create something that was just not deemed physically possible. And oh my god, I just can't. I hope she has a design, like a fashion line or something at some point, because this really just showed, okay, Utica is not to be messed with. Oh, also sad that they didn't have really any other design challenge. But oh well, great standout of all time. Any other look coming forward from season 13 onwards will have to compete with this one, and it'll fail eventually. The silver medal goes to, I think, another controversial choice, but to me it was clear from the get-go that these two would be high on the list. It is a writing challenge, it is an acting challenge, and it's Shea Coulee and Sasha Velour, Teats and ASCII pilot on season 9's Your Pilot's on Fire challenge. The queens were tasked to create, I guess, trailers for their pilots, like a TV show, create characters, plots, and just a very captivating teaser for the show. And Shea Coulee and Sasha Velour really just showed how great of a team these two are, because they created two iconic characters that could easily be actual movie characters. They created a lot of funny moments in their small teaser, really filled it, had a lot of amazing jokes, and were able to craft two characters that on the one hand were really interesting, like you would have wanted to know more about them, but were also just funny and met the Drag Race standard of what comedies ought to be, but with a lot of depth. Like, it's just so nice to see two people like work so beautifully together, and these two absolutely did. And I hope that in some capacity there will be something from Teats and ASCII, because I think it's a very funny concept, and I think it's a very good concept. And if you like are wondering why I'm putting this performance so high, because I don't necessarily feel like it gets talked about a lot, I'd recommend you maybe rewatch the pilot. It might just be my subjective humor that made it that funny, but like lines like, "How am I supposed to feel like strong woman? Vote, bitch," or "Where are the espadrilles?" Really, really funny. I might be putting it too high on the list. I'll second that maybe, I don't know, but to me it seemed clear because it was comedic, it was entertaining, it was crafted beautifully. Congratulations. And therefore, the gold medal, the best challenge performance ever on Drag Race, of course, is Lala Ree's book ball look. I just don't think people appreciate sort of the artistic ambition that came with this look. People like to say, oh, it's just a bunch of paper bags glued to a corset, and then like a weird head on her head. Y'all don't get it. It's commentary. It's about how communism is covering us up, how we are unfinished paper bags, how we are nothing more than like put into like these paper bags ready to be purchased by other people, but we purchase a lot as well. It's about how it's not just sustainable anymore, because it's not sustainable. It's literally dropping off of her body because she can't carry it. Of course, Lala Ree in this performance is Earth, Mother Earth, and the paper bags are like our plastic consumption that are littering us up, and she just can't bear it anymore. And it's just so deep if you think about it. And the furry thing on her head are the animals who are dying. As you can see here, of course, they are leaving planet Earth because it's just unbearable. So deep. And of course, my number one performance of all time. It was a joke. It was a joke. Okay, even though that was a joke, I still think my number one, like actual number one choice will still be controversial. But I don't care. It's a Snatch Game performance. It's to me it's definitely the best Snatch Game performance, of course, but it's also to me one of the best performances and the best performance of all time on Drag Race, the main series. And that has been de la creme as Maggie Smith on Snatch Game Season 6. To this day, I can't fathom how great she was. You have to imagine Ben de la Creme, a Chicago-based American queen, went into Snatch Game portraying a British lady that really, on the first look, really wouldn't fit well with the comedy of what Snatch Game requires. An old, like really stoic lady, like especially in the Downton Abbey getup, like how would that be funny? But she made it funny, and what I respect so much is that she didn't just go for the jugular like Blue Hydrangea did on Snatch Game of Drag Race UK, which is also a fine choice. I don't think that is bad. I just respect that she stayed within the prestige that this character demands and still was able to make it funny. And she was spontaneous when Miss Nicki Minaj next to her was like, can you get people that speak the language next time. First of all, as if Nicki Minaj would front anybody for that British accent, like Miss Nicki Minaj. Anyways, that's for the barbs. But Maggie Smith, Bendela Crem's comeback, we originated the language. That was great. And libation flavored with citrus and I have not heard the works of Lady Handler. To me, it was just so funny, and I just have so much respect for Bendela Creme as a comedic actress that she was able to do that. It is so difficult if you think about it. It just may not seem that impressive because Bendela Creme does everything so effortless, but it is so difficult. And that she was able to create an amazing other Snatch Game performance on All Stars 3 with Paul Lynde just shows the range of this amazing queen. To me, the best performance, I really thought long and hard about this, like contrasting it with the other performances on this list, but it beats everybody else. It really does. And you might disagree, and I think that's absolutely fine. I can understand why people would disagree, maybe in general putting a Snatch Game performance on number one, but to me it was the performance that impressed me the most. So yeah, Bendela Creme, my number one, as Maggie Smith. We originated the language. And with that, we are done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this list. Please again leave me your top 5 at least on the in the comment section down below, and I would love to read it. All right, I might do a video of like my favorite performances of all stars of all time, and maybe a second video where I either do only international franchises or like a complete list with like all stars performance, US and international. I just know that there will be a lot of international performances, especially with like Drag Race España. I thought it was really great. I thought Holland was amazing. Thailand, of course, especially in UK. But yeah, let's see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. And I would love if you could subscribe to Dragged MP4. Till next time.